everybody, welcome to the Mama I Made It podcast. We are very, very excited today to be together and actually film this. We've been, this is a podcast we have been planning for, that has been in the works for how many months now, Denzel?
Almost a year now.
Almost a year. Was it really a year?
It was almost a year, John.
Okay.
I'll give you the backstory. I'll give you guys the backstory. For John, it's probably been a couple of months.
It's been a couple months for me.
But for me, definitely a year.
Yeah.
For sure.
No, we are very excited to be here. And you know what? By the end of this is just an intro episode.
Yeah.
By the end of this episode, they should know what, Denzel. They should know
what the podcast is about.
What the podcast is about. A. B.
They should know things they should look forward to.
Things they should look forward to. C. 3.
What else, John?
They should know more about the hosts, and that's really just the whole point of this episode.
Yeah.
Meeting Denzel and I, and it's gonna be a good time. And then we'll throw some nuggets in, throw some fun stories, and it should be a fairly short episode.
Definitely.
But
it's gonna be one for the books, though. This is the first episode.
Yes.
They're being introduced to us.
Yes.
So I know many of you have been asking, what is the Mama I Made It podcast? What is it about? Why the name Mama I Made It? And the first thing I want you guys to know is that, as I was telling John, even though I said a couple years and you're like a few months, this is something I've been wanting to do since I was actually a freshman in college. I had a great conversation with one of my friends during the summer, and we had like great conversations and we decided like we should start a podcast when we come back to campus. It didn't work out, so I had to kind of look for a different person to do the podcast with. That person was ready to go film the podcast. That person also left and transferred to a different school. And then I found this young man here by the name of John Salib. Yes. I'm going to introduce him in a bit.
I was option C. Just to make that clear, everyone, I was option C. Not B, not A, not B. Option C.
Third time's a charm.
No, I'm messing.
Third time's a charm. So even to be sitting here, it means a lot to me because I feel like it's a dream come true. It's something I've been wanting to do for quite a while. And the reason why we picked the name Mama I Made It, it was actually a brainstorming session that we had with John.
Let's give him the backstory.
We can give him the backstory.
So I'll set the context, and we'll just bounce off each other on the story.
Of course.
Guys, I don't remember what month this was. This was January. So we're both sophomores in college, go to the same school, so that makes it very easy. We were at the library. This is a 24-hour library, probably till like 2 a.m.
Probably till 2 a.m. And this is the library that's notorious for like the STEM majors, so it's very kind of a depressing place. Like
it's very sterile. It's like a hospital.
Yeah, it's like a hospital. Not many good memories associated with that place. A lot of studying, a lot of
Yeah. So and Denzel and I like to be out of the library early.
Yep.
Like to go relax at night, sleep early. We love our sleep.
Yes, we do.
So,
especially John.
Yeah, I love my sleep.
He has a whole bedtime.
Yeah.
We can talk about it another episode.
But, so it's guys, it's 2 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
We are zombies. We call our parents. We're talking to our parents on the phone. We're calling our sister for idea. Yeah. Denzel and I both have sisters.
That's one thing we both really can relate on is that we call our sisters for like almost everything.
Yeah.
So my sister's a big supporter of this podcast. John's sister's the same.
Yeah.
And our moms as well.
Shout out Holly and
Delize.
Yep. So we're in the library, room next to us. People are grinding it out. Then Zen and I are like, you know what? What are we gonna do? Let's just take a little lap around the library.
Yeah.
We went through like a whole bunch of names, probably like 50 names this night.
And at that point, we were like, we almost gave up.
Oh, almost gave up.
We were like, if we don't find something now, like we should just call it wraps. Let's go to bed.
Yeah. And the previous names were like, they weren't the best. I think Mama Made It's really fun.
Yeah.
They were like AI generated names, so they were very like, I don't know, this is random. Like I don't even know if this is.
It wasn't like very fun. Like we wanted, because this podcast is very pre-professional. We'll talk more about what it's about. Mm-hmm. But the names were like more of like campus, beyond campus walls, or like something to do with college.
Study Chronicles.
And it just sounded too, I don't know.
We want this
boring.
To be fun, so we walked to the room next to us. Yeah. And there were two people studying. They're studying for Orgo, the organic chemistry exam happening 2 days after.
Yep.
Skyla and Nathan.
Yep.
Shout out Skyla and Nathan.
Shout out Skyla. Oh, shout out Skyla and Nathan.
Them.
The best.
I don't remember who said when we were studying, we were all sitting down together. Mm-hmm. It's like 2 a.m. We talked for 10 minutes. Yeah. Someone was like, I just want to wait for the moment I tell my mama I made it.
Yeah.
And who was it?
I believe it was Skyla.
Was it
I think
Skylar
I'll
or
give it to
Nathan?
I think I'll give it to Skylar.
You give it to Skylar. I give it to Nathan.
Yeah, I think it was her.
Okay,
Yeah.
it might have been. Oh, I think it was Skylar.
And they were asking us too, like, oh, what are you guys doing up here, up this late? And we kind of gave them
Mhm.
context, like, oh, we're sitting here, kind of looking for our
Yeah.
podcast name,
Yeah.
and they were like, okay, yeah, they'll let us know if they come up with anything, but
Mhm.
it was also hard for them to
Yeah.
think of something on the spot. Also, they had like a final the next day. Or
Yeah,
like
2 days later.
2 days later, so.
So yeah, she just said that quote. I just can't wait to be done with this exam and tell my mom, Mama, I made it in a few years.
Yeah.
And we're like, dude, perfect.
where it
Light
is.
bulb, Mama, I made it podcast.
Exactly.
Mimi podcast, M-I.
MIMI.
So
Yep.
that's that. But
That's the
Denzel,
story.
what is the podcast about? Like, what's
Exactly.
people want to know? Like, what on earth are we gonna be talking about? It's not just gonna be us telling stories like this the whole time. As fun as that is.
As fun as I'm sure you guys would love to hear that. But the real reason we're here is when you hear the term "Mama, I made it." This is a term that's used by people who have succeeded. When you win something, when you achieve something, the first person that most people go to is their mom and just say, you know, I made it. And we also didn't want the podcast to be too serious. So when you hear the term "Mama, I made it," it's like, oh, this sounds kind of fun. This sounds interesting. What could it be about? So the whole premise of the podcast is to bring people on
Mhm.
that have succeeded in various industries, whether it's the medical field, whether it's athletics, whether it's, help me out here, entertainment, creatives,
Tech. We have some tech people.
we have some tech people as well coming in, and just having a space where it's student led, so it's for the youth, by the youth, because that was something that's very important. We have a lot of people in our generation who have, you know, podcasts and films or things on the internet that are very entertaining to watch. It's comedic, it's fun, but we wanted something more educational based, but in a fun way at the same time.
Mhm.
Something that I wish I had when I was younger, or you know, especially when we're young and we're trying to figure out what's your major, what do you want to do in your life. These young individuals, teenagers, people who are in high school, who really are trying to figure out their way in life. To have a place where you can watch people who have succeeded and who have done tremendous work within their field, and have them in our podcast and ask them questions. How did you make it? What advice would you give someone who is in that position, who's trying to find their way in life? And I think even as someone who, till this day, I'm trying to find my own path, find my own way in life. I wish I had something like this where I could watch and like really learn from a professional in that industry. And I think it's very important that it's student-led. The whole camera crew, the friends that you saw in the first episode, those are all my friends, John's friends.
Yes.
It's all student-led, student-run. Everyone who's here, who's helping us, is passionate about this as much as I am, as much as John is. So me, when it comes to like planning things or I have goals, I'm a visionary, so I really can say, guys, let's do this, let's do that. But finding people like John, finding people like Jets and Gabby, they probably don't want to be named, but
Yes.
those are such important names for me.
Yes.
Francesco, those are the things that really motivate me, when you find people who can see your vision and kind of help it come to life. And because we have these people, I'm so motivated now to really have a show that is going to be transformative.
Yeah.
That's the
No, very
word,
much.
right? That's the
Yeah,
word.
transformative.
Transformative, impactful, innovative. Something that people can watch and be like, wow, I'm learning something from this. And it's something you can listen to walking to class, going to work. And there's also video format, so you're going to be able to see the host, you're going to be able to see the guests that we have. We have incredible guests. This I think the video will be out by then. Will the video be out by then? Can I mention something?
Which video?
John?
Yeah.
So we our first interview.
Before we get there, though,
Okay.
I was gonna say
Yeah.
two things before we get to the interview, because we're gonna get to
course.
that right now. I was just gonna say this. So we talked about how Mama Made It is with, it's about people. Like, we're gonna bring people who have already succeeded in their industry,
Right.
but also people who are gonna continue to succeed in the industry, and we're just
Exactly.
blossoming. So it's young people. I mean, that's the whole idea of this podcast. And Denzel, something I've always been very positive, and something I've always, I'm very much a proprietor of, is like, if you can add value.
Exactly.
If you can add value to something, then you do it.
Mhm.
And I think with this podcast, we just want to add as much value to the viewer and as much value to you guys as we can, because that's going to make it a worthwhile process and a fulfilling process for everyone involved. But Denzel, last night, who did we talk to?
Yeah, we talked to someone very special. So this man, I will say, is someone who is so humble with the accomplishments that he has had. I can mention the artists he's worked with and everything. Like, we're good to go. You guys will probably see the video when it comes out. But this man has worked with Celine Dion. He's worked with The Weeknd. He's worked with Miley Cyrus. He's a huge producer, music writer, composer, just artist, pianist. And we got the chance to be in an event, and we saw him. And through a friend of mine, I was able to ask, like, hey, like, I know this guy's coming to this campus, and would you be able to, like, get an interview with him? And the way, like, John, you weren't there through the process, but it was such an easy thing for him. And it's easy when you made it in life or when you're successful to kind of, brush off people who are coming up. But he was so open, like, to speak to us, and not just us, like, everyone that was at the event. He was
so nice.
Everyone that was at the event. And only later on, like, I realized, like, this is such a big step. And it was our first interview, so please, like, leave me alone if I made a mistake. Like,
you're having fun with it.
We're having fun. We try to be professional as well. But he was just such a great guy. And it really showed me a lot about humility and being humble, especially when you succeed in whatever career path that you make. And I think one thing I forgot to mention is, like, I have to talk a lot about why I picked John, or why, not I picked John, but why John is, like, the perfect host for this. So people who don't know John is someone who is very well known and respected on the campus that we're in. He's such a joyful kid. From the first moment I met him, we never really spoke, but every interaction we had was just very positive.
Like, we really didn't get to know each other until this year.
Until this year,
Last year, very little interaction.
Lots of mutual friends.
Never hung out.
We never hung out. And every time we see him, we're like, I'm gonna hang out with this guy. Until it finally happened. I think it was John and, like, two of our other friends, and not just two, like, a couple other friends. Remember that night when we're not gonna get too in depth. I'll remind you later. But, like, we were in this lobby. There was a few of us, and we were just joking around, like, about, like, our holiday. Like, when we came back, I'll remind him.
Oh yes! Oh yeah! Of course I remember. Oh, we had some funny stories then. Someone came from the airport, had a funny story. Yep, I remember that.
Yeah, and
we got to get to all those.
We were sophomores as well. We're sophomores, so, like, they were freshmen.
Yeah.
So we also joked around.
Like, that was fun.
Yeah. So
that was a good night.
Yeah, there were some freshmen there, so we also, like, how can I say, like, just joked around with them, like, telling them, like, wrong locations to things, but in a funny way. Obviously, we will tell them later on. We're not horrible people, but just, like, talking about, like, being sophomores in that experience. So John is also very experienced within the podcast realm. He has his own podcast as well, so he's been doing this for a while, since high school. I am still very new to this. It's just, like, it's just something I'm passionate about doing. We also, like, in the space we're in, there's a lot of people in this industry, like, when it comes to, like, journalism, film. So it's very easy to draw inspiration and kind of, like, fall into this industry. But John has been, like, he's been doing this for a while. He's an OG, he's an OG. No. So when you hear John speak, you're like, this guy knows what he's doing.
No, it's actually my first time doing a video podcast. So the podcast, can I shout it out?
Yeah, you can shout it out.
Shout out the Buzzer Beater podcast. It's an NBA podcast. I've been doing it for 4 years now.
Wow.
And it really wasn't video, and I think I did my first video 2 weeks ago. I released an episode that was a video episode.
Aren't you, like, celebrating an anniversary? How many years have you
4
been?
years.
4 years.
Just 3 days ago, 4 days ago.
Shout out Buzzer Beater podcast.
Shout out Buzzer Beater. So it's very exciting. But let's talk about Denzel for a second. Denzel, he's talking up about me. This is the man on campus, and everyone knows Judson, Gabby, Francesco. Everyone's smiling right now. I mean, this is the man on campus. Like, everyone knows Denzel. He can't walk up and down, like, Sheridan without everyone knowing who he is. And Denzel is someone that is very driven, very ambitious, and very much, you're very much genuine and caring towards other people. And I know people, value that so much about you, and that's why people want to spend time with you. They want to spend time with leaders. They want to spend time with people that give back to them and add value back to them. And that's something you are so good at doing. Denzel is, this man's from Phoenix, Arizona. So this man is, Phoenix, Arizona. moved to the States a few years ago.
Yep.
So Denzel, 16 you moved to the States?
Yep.
16 he moved to the States, and he's a sophomore in college now.
Mm-hmm.
You do the math, because I'm not doing the math in my head right now. It's not clicking. But, like, oh my gosh. And he's just killing it. Like, everything he does, everything he touches is gold. So, you know, people respect that. We're going to have a lot of fun on this podcast.
We're going to have a lot of fun. I already see the success.
Yes.
These two people here that you see here, one day will be up there. Mama we'll make it, John.
We'll make it.
We'll make it. I think, have we made it, John?
Well, no.
We'll see. We'll see.
We're going to have fun with it, though.
We'll have fun with it. We'll have fun with it.
Yeah.
Maybe towards the end, like, one day we'll have an episode and see how far we've made it.
Guys, one day we're going to have our moms on the podcast.
One day we have our moms.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about dream episodes. Like, what's one episode that, like, you would wish to have, one guest you would wish to have? We already have people lined up. We can talk about it later, but, like, what's a dream episode for you, John?
Denzel, that's really hard.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, you go for it. I don't have an answer.
So I think we already spoiled it, but definitely for me, it's definitely going to be having our moms on an episode.
Mm-hmm.
I think...
How close are you to your mom?
I'm extremely close.
Really?
Extremely close to my mom. She's a God-fearing woman as well. So I'm a Christian. John is as well.
Yes.
So that's one thing that we also share in common. He's also my brother in Christ.
Mm-hmm.
So she's a very prayerful person. Like, I think everything I've ever achieved is because of my mom. Really? Like, she prayed for all of her kids. Like, everything that I see now when we're older, I'm like, oh my God, Mom. Like, did you actually... Like, she said, yeah, I prayed for this. I prayed for you to do this. I prayed for this. She's prayed a lot. So, yeah, having her on the podcast would mean everything, because I think even the person I am, even to be here filming this, it's so surreal. I can see my younger self being like, wow, you got this far, and you're filming a podcast, and you're just doing something. Yeah. Just taking
adding value back. We said that adding value to people, to everyone around us, and that's something we're very, very, very big on.
So an episode with moms, I think that's a no-brainer. It has to happen.
100%.
Maybe besides our moms, I think. Let me think. Someone definitely in the creative realm.
Okay.
Someone in the creative realm, maybe like. We had already mentioned, like, we talked to a big producer.
Yes. We should say his name. We didn't even say his name. Stefan Mocho.
Stefan Mocho, you're a great person. Like, thank you so much for even agreeing to do an interview with us.
Wrecking Ball and Earned It by The Weeknd. Those are the two songs he actually. It's his music. He's a co-writer on the song.
Exactly. And not just that, he has his own work. Like,
he's
a great guy. We'll definitely you'll see the video. You'll see him. Like, you can see his
cool guy too.
Cool guy, very cool guy. We're friends.
Yeah. He said that in the video.
He said that in the video.
He was like, "These are my friends."
These are his friends, exactly.
No, we're homies now.
We're homies. That's the homie. Universal Studio, shout out to them. So, I think maybe an artist, or not even an artist, someone in the creative realm. I'll say Trevor Noah. Trevor Noah.
Whoa, I did not see that one coming.
You don't see that one coming?
You, dude.
Listen.
I thought you were gonna say like
Trevor Noah is a stretch. It might be a stretch, but listen, Trevor. If you ever see this, I was young watching you like grow up and doing comedy and stand up, and you made a lot of jokes. I know it was a lot of political jokes, but he was such a funny guy, and he was such an ambitious man. And he moved to the States, and he became so successful. Yeah. And that's why I believe in the American dream. Like, he's one of the people who I saw, like, when you've seen someone, like, actually start from the bottom. Yeah. And now he's, like, really far. Because he was someone who, my mom would buy tickets. You can go watch him. Like, he was just a guy with a dream to do something, and he's, like, huge now. Yeah. So,
I actually don't know much about him. Like, I know very little. I'll be honest, I really know very little about Trevor.
I'll send you, like, a link to, like, even I think he has his own podcast as well.
Oh,
yeah, he's even in our space. He's in our space of podcast, in this podcast realm. Yeah. So maybe
our space.
See, we're a part of that.
We just threw ourselves in there. Our space.
I'm just gonna shoot for Trevor Noah. We never know where that goes.
Yes.
Let me just throw that out there. Yeah. But the moms first.
No, mom. Oh my gosh, mamas have to be on.
Mamas have to be on.
I love.
Imagine our mom saying no.
Shout out, mama.
Why would they say no? Mom, please say yes.
Do you call your mom mama? Because I call my mom mama. Like, her contact, if I literally pull up my phone, wherever it is.
Yeah,
it literally says
I say
mama.
Okay, I don't say my mom with her actual name. I don't say no, I call her mama, not mama.
Okay, I say mama. Okay.
Mama.
Yeah.
That sounds weird. But yeah, I don't save her as mama on my phone.
Something
She
else.
saves as something else.
Something else
So
Denzel and
whatever.
I share, which is pretty funny. I just want to bring up.
Yeah,
We are both of African heritage,
we are.
which is really, really, really cool.
Yeah.
Denzel Rwandan,
Mhm.
I'm Egyptian. So it's funny because we share a lot of values, and
Yeah.
it's like the smallest things in terms of like how do you like approach your parents about
Yeah.
like some little things
Yeah.
that we share, and it's very funny because I think we share that and other people don't.
Exactly.
So we
No,
connect
like
on that early
even
on.
filming, even like making a podcast and doing this. I spoke to most of my family about this. Some people might not know about this, but like it's a big thing. It's a big deal to just like
Yeah,
go on the internet and do something like if there's no purpose behind it.
yeah,
So I think a conversation that I had to have was like, okay, what are you gonna do with this? What is the plan? If I didn't give them a good enough response, I probably wouldn't be sitting here.
yeah,
It would probably be like, hey, go back and focus on your books, focus on school.
yeah,
You can succeed.
yeah.
You can make it in something else. Don't try and be in the internet
Yeah.
because it's a very dangerous
Yeah.
space. A lot of people get canceled. A lot of people, don't make it out. Hopefully that won't be us.
Maybe we don't talk about that on the first episode, man.
Maybe we shouldn't talk about it.
I'm kidding.
It won't happen. But yeah, so
Yeah.
we definitely share the same values. And yeah, so John, who's the person you want to see?
I can't think of anyone.
You
Like
can't
this
think
is
of
a
someone?
really boring
Just
answer.
okay, no,
Right.
shoot your shot. Shoot your shot at someone who is interesting, entertaining. Maybe it can be just a dream, like
I don't
just
know.
someone random.
I really can't think right now. I don't know.
Anyone in your field of like that you're like interested. So John is pre-med, like he's a doctor.
No,
He's a
I'm
doctor
not.
soon, very soon. Loading. Loading.
I have to think.
Someone in the government. Someone from your home country, Mo Salah, perhaps.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh, Muhammad Al Aryan.
Okay, I don't know
I
him.
guarantee you don't know Muhammad Al
Mhm.
Aryan. He is so Muhammad Al Aryan is an Egyptian.
Is
You
it
know-
the guy that like the books that you like reading? Because I remember once we were like, remember when we were on the trip and like there were some books that you were looking at from a guy from Egypt and he like wrote like lots of books about.
No.
Is that him?
Wait, which books?
Do you remember when we were in that bookstore? We were with our friend. I think Frank was there. I think a couple people.
I don't remember this.
And then there was like these books you were looking at. And I was like, John, what is this? And I was like, oh yeah, this guy's Egyptian, and he's like, he's in the medical field, or I don't know if it was
Oh.
economist or someone that you.
Yes, Marty McCary.
Maybe, yeah.
I love Marty McCary's books. I was reading them.
Yeah. Okay,
he's
but it
Egyptian
wasn't
as well.
Okay, that was.
So he's at Hopkins. He's like a pre-med.
Right.
Sorry, not a pre-med. He's big old surgeon. Does a whole bunch of things in the healthcare field that I find super duper interesting.
Right.
Actually, like talking about career really quickly, like what I'm interested in, and you
Yeah.
know this is,
Yeah.
like figuring out a way to do more than just medicine. Like I don't see medicine being the end all be all.
Right.
I think there's a lot more to medicine. So whether that's like insurance, whether it's pharmaceuticals, medical devices,
Mhm.
I think there's a lot of value to be added and a lot of help. Like it just making it easy for the patients to get into the doctor's office and a bunch of stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's what Marty McCary writes about. But I was saying Muhammad Al Aryan.
Okay.
He is so interestingly. Muhammad Al Aryan grew up. His father was a United Nations. He worked for the was it the UN?
Mhm.
He pretty much was ambassador. So
Wow.
he lived in many different countries. You know, he lived in Europe for a little bit. He moved to the States. I think he
Mhm.
moved to the Middle East, Asia. You know how it is when
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
someone's an ambassador.
Yeah.
Grew up everywhere and is in finance and is one of the most influential
Yeah.
people in all of finance today.
Yeah.
He is currently the president of King's College London,
Wow.
and it's just fascinating. I'm originally from Southern California,
Mhm.
and he lived in Southern California for the longest time.
Really?
So I just always heard about him in the news, and he had a PIMCO, lots of stuff with finance in PIMCO. So
It's amazing.
yeah,
So Muhammad and Trevor, we're hoping
Yes.
to see you soon.
yes.
Yeah. Ready to hear
Denzel.
first.
Before we close this up, though,
Yep.
we want to talk about like who are possible guests. Like, what should people expect?
What should people expect?
Are people already in conversations? But like, what are we thinking? We do have the next episode
Ready. We know who it is.
ready. We know who's coming in the next
know who's
episode.
coming.
Maybe we don't drop the name, but we drop
We give you
an
hints.
idea.
We'll
Let's
give you some
let's
hints.
give some hints.
Give some hints,
Hit him
yeah.
with a hint.
Athlete.
Okay, that's not a good enough hint. Division 1 athlete? Kidding.
Division 1 athlete.
Not a good enough hint.
Division 1 athlete. This is actually your realm.
This is my realm.
That's an idea we'll give them. It's in John's realm. We'll let you guess what we mean by John's
Division 1 hooper. One of the.
Okay, you gave it away. I was saying in John's realm, and they should just
Okay,
guess.
no,
Like, okay, he's a hooper. Okay.
Division 1 hooper.
Division 1 hooper.
One of the best 3-point shooters in all of college basketball.
Yeah, that's a big statement to make as well.
It's a true statement though.
Yeah.
It's a fact.
It's a fact.
We're very excited.
My good friend as well.
Denzel's very good friend. Denzel, Gabby too. Denzel and Gabby.
We'll speak more about it when he's on.
Yeah.
But yeah, very cool guy. Someone who, if you don't really know him, you would be like, oh, this guy is probably unapproachable, but such a
I'm very
chill
excited.
guy. Yeah, very excited for that.
I haven't met him yet.
John hasn't met him.
We're all
Well,
I haven't met him yet.
You haven't met him yet?
No.
Okay.
So I'm very excited.
You haven't met him yet, but like, after we film, you'll meet him.
Oh yes. I'm gonna meet him before we film and everything.
Yeah,
but it's like, you know, that's still in the process.
Yeah. So he hasn't met him in person, but like, don't worry, guys. It's ready. It's ready.
Yes.
And then we have a couple more people that are coming on. We have someone who also is the space of podcasts on the podcast room. I'll talk to you about this, John.
Okay, I don't know.
John doesn't know about this.
This is you guys are getting.
Yeah, you guys are getting some
everyone's
real
finding out
good
about
insights.
This at the same
Yeah,
time.
but that's not all that he does. He's also very well traveled, very cool guy. He was on a very famous.
I know who it is.
He was on a very famous show, and I can't remember the name of the show, but it's this guy who's like an expert when it comes to finance and like helping you realize helping you know how to use your money. And he was one of the people he called on to the show. So he is like, and that video went really viral.
Like Dave Ramsey? The Dave Ramsey show?
I don't know if it's Dave Ramsey. You'll know when he comes on the show. He'll talk about that. He'll talk about that. We have a good friend of both of ours. Mostly, I think John for you is like kind of like a mentor. Yeah, I would say.
Well, who'll be on? We don't want to drop too many.
We don't want to drop too many details.
But like,
we don't want to drop too many.
There's
details.
a lot coming, you know, on Instagram. Stay tuned on Instagram. We are trying to stay active on that. Post as much as we can. Even post like random funny videos and
like there'll be some short interview questions with people, just like random people out in the streets. Yeah. Just stay tuned. Be on social media. I don't know what social media can they find us on, John? Because Instagram. We have Instagram right now. The Mama I Made It podcast. No.
Lots of people have been telling us to start a TikTok.
Yeah, we need to start a TikTok.
I don't know how we feel about that.
I think we should do a TikTok.
I don't know about
TikTok. I know TikTok might be banned and all of that, but please, guys, let us know if you want to see a TikTok.
Denzel and I are goofy.
We'll put that as a poll. And let us know if should we do a TikTok, should we not do a TikTok. Let them decide.
Yes. You guys will pick that for us.
YouTube.
Yes, we'll be on YouTube.
We'll
We'll have YouTube videos.
We'll have YouTube videos. We're speaking that into existence because right now, like, it's not really work. We don't have one yet.
Yeah. We're still working on it.
We're still working on that.
You guys are along the journey with us. And we appreciate that. And this is what?
The beginning of something great.
And it's also led by the youth.
Led by the youth, for the youth, by the youth.
So we want as much,
engagement. Yes. We need to know your ideas, what you want to see. Now that you kind of have an idea of what the podcast is, feel free to send us a DM. We have someone checking on that page, so if you have a DM or something that you want to do, make sure. They're showing us. I think we have to wrap things up here, but really we're grateful for you guys tuning in for this first episode. I'm happy to doing this with John. I'm so... Wait, we need to give a shout out. Shout out to everyone in the first video. We need to give them a shout out. All of our friends who were in the building when we filmed that video, the friends that were even in the... who didn't even actually get into the video, but were around us.
A lot of people were in the... a lot of people actually filmed. Their videos just didn't get in because it was too shaky or... some people have to leave for a football game.
We might have to do that again. We might have to do something adjacent to that. Maybe not the exact same video, but I definitely have been told by some people why am I not in this video? So we should do something for the.
But we want as much of you guys in this podcast with us. Exactly. So joining us. Yeah. Well, this is a collaboration between all of us.
Exactly.
It's not just
for the youth. It's for us. It's for
all of us and every single person at home.
It's mainly for the youth. Also, let's say if you're older, you obviously.
Hey,
it's
we
for
don't. Yeah,
everyone.
we don't exclude by age.
We're not excluding by age.
Our
or
parents will
anything.
be listening to
Our
this.
parents will be listening
Our
to this.
our mamas
Our
will be very proud of watching.
our mamas, our uncles,
Shout
our
out to our
aunts.
moms.
Shout out to the grandma. Shout out to the grandpa. Shout out to all the age groups. Even the little
Shout out to
kids.
the toddlers.
Shout out to the toddlers. Shout out to everyone. Yeah, I think with that.
Yes, that's pretty much it.
That,
Thank you guys for listening, and
To
that wraps up the introduction. We'll see you guys on our next episode.
Next episode, we'll see you guys.